Hello my friends, my name is André Rodrigues, I'm from Media Environment, and today I'm here to present Tangent Wave Booster, an application which I created to give some improvements to Tangent Wave and Tangent Wave 2 and maybe to work with another mid panels and controllers and etc. As you can see, I'm a Brazilian guy and I never studied English in my life. I learned this language alone, so be comprehensive and understand that sometimes I will make some mistakes with the language or my accent is not too good, I don't know, but I hope you can understand what I'm trying to say, okay? So, what is Tangent Wave Controller? Those who has this controller, Tangent Wave and Tangent Wave 2, know that this controller is made for DaVinci and Adobe Premiere and other softwares, but on DaVinci Resolve it's way limited. There's not too much what you can do with this controller on DaVinci Resolve. That's because DaVinci, the Blackmagic launched their controller and there's no new updates for this controller. So what I'm trying here is creating a new app where you can work with Tangent Mapper and DaVinci Resolve and have a lot of controllers of the DaVinci Resolve on your Tangent Wave. So you can control your timeline, edit page and color page a lot of more than with the original controller and DaVinci Resolve communication. I started this project like 6 months ago, but I had to stop and I was kind of procrastinating. But now I had some time because of the quarantine and things like that. So I started it again and worked hard on top of it. And it was like 2 months programming a lot of things, testing on the UI and what is better for each part of the controller and etc. So it was a hard work, and it's a free software for everyone, and it's open source, so people can help with it. But now I have a finished version, like with a lot of things. Like I said, you can do a lot of things more than just the original Tangent and Tangent Mapper DaVinci Resolve software. So if you like it, you can make a donation. You can click down here and there's a link to donations in dollars like USD or to donation in real, BRL. You can click down here and make your donation. If you everywhere in the world, you can do a donation in USD. So if you like this software and you want to help me, just make your donation, okay? And if you want help with this project, you can go to our website. There's a link for our GitHub where you'll find the source files so you can help to improve this project and make the controller have more control on the DaVinci Resolve. Or if you want, you can use the code for another controller or maybe a mid device where you can work with it or create another software based on my code. You can do whatever you want, just go there. This software works for DaVinci Resolve and Tangent Wave, but if you edit the code, you can work with another controller or mid device. You just need a mid device or controller which has a mapper software like Tangent Hub Mapper, like Loopdeck DC, I think it's DC, I don't know, CT. So Loopdeck has a mapper software. There's another controllers who has mapper software, so you can work with them. And my software, you can just configure it, the another mid controller or controller to work with the software, okay? Yeah, I know I talked a lot, so let's see what Tangent Wave Booster can do for your Tangent Wave and Tangent Wave 2 and maybe another controllers. Let's see what I did. Okay, now we're gonna see what Tangent Wave Booster can do. I have here my software opened here and I already started the Tangent Mapper, link it to this, and I will not explain how to make everything work because I will do this on the tutorial video about how to install, which will be a short one, just teaching you how to make everything work. I will just show what this can do, okay? So first of all, to start this controller, you need to hit this button, Start DR Tangent Wave Booster. When you start, now it's everything working, you have all the shortcuts. But if you press again, you stop it, and now the shortcuts will not work. Why I did that? Because when you're editing on DaVinci Resolve, let's say you're here, you're using the panel and blah, 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 and then you want to go to your browser, or you want to go to your Windows Explorer or anywhere in other softwares. So you don't want the shortcuts working, so you can press something and mess with everything. And you have to remember the shortcuts here are the same in your keyboard. So you're gonna try to use your keyboard and will do a lot of different things that you don't wanna. So you can stop and start the software. With this, you can use other softwares without the shortcuts. And to start and stop it, you can press F8 here or F8 in your keyboard. So you can just press F8, I start it, I press again, I stop it. And you don't need to be in this window. I'm here, I press F8, and as you can see, the software is already running because I press F8. Now it's already running. If I press again, now I stop it. It's not working anymore. You can see that the state of the button now is start, so it's waiting to be pressed and start the program. Okay, so I'm gonna start here, and then I'm gonna show what this can do. The tangent wave here has a lot of modes that I configured. To access these modes, you just need to press F9. Doesn't matter what panel you are, what mode you are. When you press F9, you always will come to this mode, which is the mode selection. On this corner here, when you press Alt, in every mode, you're gonna see the name of the mode here. That is a reference, a visual reference, so you can know where you are. So I'm now in the mode selection. When I press F9, you go to the mode selection. But if I go to edit mode and press Alt, you're gonna see edit. If I go to inspector mode, you're gonna see inspector. If I go to log wheels, you're gonna see log wheels. And is that every mode you are, you're gonna see the name of the mode. When you press Alt here, you're gonna see the name of the mode here. When you're here in this mode selection, as I said, when you press F9, you can go to the other modes faster. So let's say I wanna go to edit, I just press here. I wanna go to log wheels, I press here. I wanna go to curves, I press here. So it's fast. I go F9 and choose what mode I want. I prefer use this than the normal way to navigate between modes that was in these arrows, and I don't like it because you need to go passing through all the modes to go to somewhere. So with this, I can just press F9 and choose directly what mode I want. In the mode selection, when I press Alt, I have more modes here, RGB, blur, and power windows, and maybe in the future we're gonna have more modes. And in the first page here, without Alt pressed, I have all the modes. Another thing I have here is if I press down arrow, I will change the bank. This bank, the downside bank. We have the downside part and the upside part. The downside part is the buttons, and the upside is the knobs. So when you're in any panel, doesn't matter if you're in edit mode or if you're in primary bars mode, you can have more than one bank on top or on bottom. This mode, for example, log one, there's no other banks. If I press here, just doesn't matter if I'm hitting out or not, I will change the banks. But in this case, we don't have two banks. But in edit mode, for example, I have all this in the first bank and second bank. Without, you can see more options. But I have a second bank on the bottom. Okay, so I press and I will toggle between these two banks. And on top two, arrow up, change tops banks, and arrow down, change bottom banks. So I have two banks here, and for the second bank of each one, I have options which are different than the first bank options. So here in the mode selections, I have a second bank which is shortcuts for these parts here, these pages. So I can go media, I can go cut, edit, fusion, and then color, fairlight, and delivery page. I can go, I can just travel between these modes. I'm gonna back here to color mode, and I wanna hit here to come back to the first bank. Now we're gonna see what each mode can do and see what is Tangent Wave Booster, how this is amazing. So to start everything, I can come here to the mode selection, and there's a shortcut here, pressing Alt. I have a start state. This shortcut will put your window, all your workspace in a default mode. So we can use this, and I will talk about why I did that. So I press this and start state, and it will do it. So now, as you can see, I'm in the full screen mode and in the default mode of DaVinci in edit page. So this is to start everything. So why that? The software uses your mouse to change the things and go to the options. So you need that everything here, every button, every place in the screen need to be in the right place. If I change like this, some things will not work because I had, like, for example, a command that need this part of the timeline and it's not here. So when I use it, this command, like for example here, should go there, it will not work. This one is zoom, there's no problem, but this one now is zooming, but it shouldn't zoom. It should do another thing, but it expects that this bar needs to be here. So this is the first and biggest limitation of Tangent Wave Booster. It works with the mouse and the buttons and elements position. So this means you need to set each position or use the default mode. I work with the default mode of the DaVinci, so I go to reset layouts and go to full screen mode, and then I work with this. So I made the software to work with this. But if you want to work with other configurations, like for example, if you prefer this here or another screen in another place, you can do it, but you have to set the positions again. So you're gonna come here and set each of these elements. You're gonna hit it, and I will teach this about this later, but you need to change each position of the software. But as I use 4K UHD resolution and I'm getting used to use the default workspace, I made the software for this, but you can change it. There's no problem, you can change it. You only gonna have a little work to do it, but you can change it. And of course, if you use a different resolution, so you need to reposition all the things too, because it made for 4K UHD, okay? So to start, as I said, I can go here, Alt and Start State, and it will come to this default mode. I prefer use like this. Don't use this if you're gonna use another screen configuration, because if you hit that, you're gonna lose all your positions and you're gonna have to set everything again. Right, the biggest limitation is that, and now we can talk about all the good stuffs about this. Okay, so in edit page, I'm gonna hit here and go to edit mode, and now I'm here on edit page. On my second bank here, I have controls for each button, so I can open and close my media pool, and when I do that, I go directly for the first clip here. So doesn't matter, every time I hit, it goes for the first clip. And I can navigate it just turning this knob. It's up and down, and this one is left and right. And I can choose something here. Let's say, for example, I choose this one and turn this knob. This knob doesn't matter right or left, it will open it. It will hit enter. As I say, it enter and open. I have here Effect Libraries button. I have Edit Index, Sound Library, which goes directly to the search bar. And I have Mixer, I have Metadata, and I have Inspector. So I can open and close the inspector. Some of these tabs has variables. So for example, it knows when you open it, inspector, it saves in a variable, inspector is opened. If I close it, now the variable says inspector is closed. And this is for when you're using the mode. For example, if I hit here and go to inspector mode, anything will happen with my mouse because it knows the inspector window is closed, so it's not working. You cannot go here and open it with your mouse because you just messed with the variable. Now the variable says it's closed and it's opened. So when you press again, now the variable says it's opened and it's closed. If you do that, just come here again and hit it, and it will come back to the original state and the variable will be fine. So the commands, the controls will work. So for example, I open it here, the inspector, I go to inspector panel, and now I have controls of my things. Okay, so as you see here in inspector, I tried to move the commands and it's not working. It's on the top of it, and that's why my clip is linked. So I have video and audio linked. And sadly, this is another minor limitation. You need to have the clips unlinked and work them separately because of the position of the items there. I'm thinking maybe create another inspector panel, so I will have inspector for linked and inspector for unlinked clips. So it will, one will have positions up here and other and down here. But for now, you need to unlink. So let's say I choose this clip. I'm gonna unlink it, edit mode, and here unlink it. Now they are unlinked. I'm gonna choose the clip, and as you can see, now I can go here to inspector, inspector mode, and now I can control my opposite, my zoom, my position X, Y, rotation, anchor X, anchor Y, pitch, and if I press Alt here, I can control y'all. And as you can see, my control is where I just turned the knob, and it's there, it's fixed there. If I release it, it's still there. If I move my mouse, it will move the value. So every time you're using some control controlled by the knobs, after you use it, doesn't matter, as you can see, if you change from one and to other, but after finish it, you need to press release. So now the mouse is released. So I can move everything and it will not change the value. But when I'm using it, I need to press release, okay? And this is for make some things faster too. Let's say here, as you can see, I'm turning, and it's really soft. It goes 0.1 each time I turn, okay? I can turn slow, I can turn fast, but it's not too fast. Let's say I want to go faster, so I can turn this one and will be faster, as you can see, because this is mouse X2, and I can turn the trackball, which will be really fast if I want. See, I can go slow, of course, but I can go really fast. So I have three options here to control it. After you use it, I just click on release button. When you click on this release button, is important because it says to some variables that you're not more in that controller. So when I go to position X, for example, now it started in the right place. If I don't click on release button, so let's say I'm gonna click here on my mouse and I release it, the variable thinks that I still in position X controller. Even I'm not there, it thinks I'm there. So when I'm controlling here, as I said, let's say I'm in Y, position Y, and if I don't click on release, let's say I release here with my mouse, or I release here, this is kind of mouse click too, this is the left mouse click. So if I release it and I turn again position Y, it thinks I'm already there. So I didn't press release button, so the software is still thinking I'm there. So if I use again position Y, it will move the mouse, but it's not on the position because it thinks I'm already there. So what I can do is press release, and now it's fine. I can go back here, or I can go to any other controller and it will release for me. So it's important, remember, sometimes you're gonna be here, then you press your button in your mouse and you release it, then you go here and it's not working. Okay, just press release and now it's working. But with time, you're gonna get used to press release every time, so this will never happen, okay? You just press release here and you're free. So as I said, the trackball here is a mouse, so you can use it as a mouse, so you don't need to go with your mouse to anywhere. You can use just here and click on the things, okay? This is kind of a left mouse click, so I can go here and select a clip, I can go here and select a transition point, doesn't matter. I can even click here and press it and move the things as I do with the mouse. So it's the same thing that using a mouse. Another thing that you can use the inspector panel is create keyframes. So let's say I'm here on the timeline, okay, and I want create a keyframe on this part. So let's say I'm choosing this clip. I can press key opacity, and as you can see, it creates a keyframe here, and I can just go to the front and hit again the keyframe opposite, and now I have 2 keyframes, and then I can just adjust it, okay, and now I have the opposite animation here. You can do it for zoom and position and rotation, anchor, pitch, and yaw. And you can click here to reset all the transform controllers. To reset opposite, you're gonna Alt and reset opposite. And you can have resets separately for zoom, position, and anything. Just hit here zoom and position, rotation, anchor, pitch, and yaw, and flip. When you press Alt here, you have 2 more things. When you do here zoom is linked, so you can press Alt and one turn in the knob will click and unlink. It doesn't matter it's left or right. So now, as you can see, is unlinked. So if I turn zoom, will be separated. I can press again, turn the knob, and now is linked. And I can again work with it together. And the last thing here, you can turn left here to flip horizontally, one each time, as you can see. And you can turn right to flip vertically. Sometimes it goes fast, so you need to get used with it, but when you get used, it's fine. And if you want, you can reset here. As I said, here we have the name of the mode, inspector, and if I hit this button, it will open and close the inspector. As the same, if I was in edit panel, so I press F9, edit panel, I have on the second bank an option to open and close inspector. And now we're gonna talk about other stuffs on the editor panel. So here I have a select preview, which goes to my preview screen here, okay, and select timeline, which goes to my timeline. So when I'm in my timeline and press here, I'm gonna play. This is like J, K, and L. So if I press 1 time, it's normal, and then 2 times is double, 3 times is triple, and it goes on. At the same way, I can press stop, it will stop, and I can press here to backwards and faster and faster and faster. Okay, I'm gonna stop here, and I can press here to go through between each cut. See? Another thing I can do here is have some controls of the clips. And all this works in the timeline because I'm in the timeline. But if I go to the second bank and select preview, now I'm controlling preview. I can go back faster, faster, I can stop, and I can go to begin and the end, to end and begin of the clip. Another thing I can do here is, as you can see here on the time or here, I will turn the jog wheel and I'm going frame by frame. I can go fast and back, forward and back, fast and slower, really frame by frame. And if I go to my timeline, same thing here. I can go front and back with this jog wheel. The other jog wheels, when I'm in my edit screen, doesn't matter if I'm in preview or timeline, I can be in the preview. If I turn this, I will just walk on my timeline. As you can see, I'm going forward, I'm going backwards. If I turn this, I'm gonna zoom in and zoom out. And if I select any clip here, so let's say I selected this, and use this first jog, I will walk with the clip, frame by frame. If I select the transition, I will walk with the transition, as you can see. On this knob, I have undo, so it will undo everything I did, as you can see. It's undoing, 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 undoing forever. And I can redo turning to right. So I'm going again, redoing, undo to left and redo to right. So still in this edit mode, here I have my first bank and second bank. I can go home and end, turn left and right, and I can have set in and out. So let's say I'm here and I want set in, I turn left, and then I can go here and turn right, I set an out. So I can maybe delete selection, for example. I'm gonna do this. I can set an in out in a preview window. So I go to the second bank, go to the preview, and then I play, okay, I want this part in, I play again, I want this part out, and now I can bring this to my timeline. And I can do this just using my mouse, of course, and pressing mouse and coming here, or with the audio, okay? But of course, I have these shortcuts here, which are the insert clip, the overwrite, and the replace. And to use them, you're gonna use these keys here. So the F1 goes to this tool, the selection mode, F2 goes to the trim mode, and F3 goes to the blade mode. And F4, 5, and 6, they are used for insert, overwrite, and replace. So I'm here on my preview, I just set it in, out. Okay, I don't want that in, out. I press out and turn this, and this will clean in, out. Doesn't matter if I turn right or left, it will clean the in, out. And now I'm gonna change the in, out. I want this part and this part here. So I set the in, out, and now I'm just gonna press F9 and it will go F4, F5, F6, and it will go where is my playhead, this playhead here. But let's say I don't want it in that place, so I can go to the timeline and just bring back here. Okay, where I want here in this part. So we're gonna press F4 and it will insert there. I can just press F5 and will overwrite, and I can press F6 and will make the change of the clips, the replace of the clips, okay? Another thing I can do when I'm in my timeline is use select forward and backwards. So if I turn left, I select from my playhead to the backwards, so everything which is backwards. I'm gonna zoom out here so you can see this better. So I selected from my playhead to backwards, and turn right, I select from my playhead to forward. And I can select all, just turning this one, this knob one, just turning it, doesn't matter, left or right, will select everything. And if I want unselect, what I did is just press Alt and move the center knob again. Doesn't matter, left or right, will deselect everything. I selected backwards, deselect everything. I select forward, deselect everything. At the first bank here, I have some other controls. So let's say I'm here on my timeline and I want to cut. So if I click here, I will cut all the timelines. If I selected something, like for example the clip, if I want to select it, I can click here, closest clip or gap. So the closest clip, which is where is the playhead. I'm gonna zoom in here. So with my playhead is, I don't know, here, and I click, it will select that clip. And with the clip selected, I can do other things. I can delete selection, for example, or I can copy and go to another place and paste it. and I can paste the attributes. So I select this clip here and I copy it, and then I go to this clip here and hit Alt, and I have copy, cut, and paste attributes. And we'll open this window so you can choose what attribute you want to paste and apply. And if I clip selected and hit cut all timelines, it will not cut everything. It will cut only the clip. When you're editing interview or things that there's a long way just playing and listening and you want to cut, so you stop here and you want to cut that part, what you can do to be faster is, let's see, what I did here is I had a selected clip here and I don't want to select that. I want to cut all the timelines. So I can hit here. I can bring my mouse here, of course. It's already here, but if it was here and click, I'm now in the preview window. Here, I'm in the timeline window, and I want to be on the timeline. So I had to click here, or I can press the second bank in edit mode, and I have select preview, select timeline. When I'm here on my timeline and I'm editing, so I'm listening, okay, blah, 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 blah. This part is okay. So at this part, I don't want it anymore. So I will cut everything and I go, okay, okay, okay. So it goes until here. And from this point to forward, I want it. From this point to the last cut here, I don't want it. So I will hit here, delete start to playhead. So it will delete this part, the part where I cut it until where is the playhead. As you can see, it deleted directly. So to edit interviews and long people talking, I don't know, like events and things like that, this is really fast because you listen, okay, so I cut here and I don't want this, and go again and go forward, and then I cut again, I don't want this part and delete it, then I go again and cut and go forward and delete it. So it's really fast to edit interview and things like that just doing this. I have delete to and to playhead, so it's it goes delete from here the playhead until the next cut. So if I hit here, as you can see, it was everything deleted. Of course the audio, it was deleted because it goes and goes and goes. So I can select the clips using closest clip gap. I can delete it. If I hit again, it will select this clip here because it's the closest one for the from the playhead. If I delete it, and now the closest thing is the gap. So if I hit here again, it selects the gap and I can delete the gap too. Another thing I have here is the closest edit point, which goes to the edit point closest to the playhead. So let's say I'm here and the closest edit point, of course, is here. So I can hit closest edit point and it goes there. And with this, I can add some transition. So I'm gonna zoom in here. You can, sometimes it selects just the transition of one clip. I don't know why it does that sometimes. And I don't understand too much why sometimes that happen. But sometimes it just choose the true transitions and sometimes not. But if it does that, you just go here with the mouse and hit on the transition. And after that, you're gonna have it working again. So let's say I'm in this part of my timeline and hit closest edit point. It goes there with the two transitions selected. But sometimes you don't want two transitions, you want one. So you come on here with your mouse and hit here. And with the transition selected, you have here add transition, which will add the default transition to the two clips, the audio and the video. Okay, you can select it and delete it, and you can add a video transition. So closest edit point and then add just a video transition or add just an audio transition. Okay, so as you can see, you almost don't need your mouse. Sometimes you need it, you can use here, it will be faster. You have a button here, so it's really fast. But I'm using the mouse here just to make the presentation faster, because there's a lot of things to talk about, and I have to make things faster. But normally you edit just using here and going back, and then everything will be faster here. Then go to your mouse and back here. You don't need that. So the last things in edit mode, when you press Alt, you have here save project. If you're in the first bank, of course, as you can see, the first bank is cut and closes and everything. So press Alt, you have save project, you have toggle full screen, you have link and unlink clips. So if I have a selected clip here and click here, I will link and unlink. And I have copy, cut, paste, and paste attributes. I can open the project settings, turning this knob, doesn't matter left or right. So it opens the project settings, okay? I can add a mark. So let's say I'm here, but I'm in the clip. I don't want to be in the clip. So I'm gonna here, select my timeline. Okay, so I press Alt and I will turn right, and this will add a mark. If I turn right again, it will edit the mark. So I can go to my keyboard and type it. And of course, remember, turn off the controls, type whatever you want in your keyboard and turn on again, so you will not make mistakes moving your mouse when you're typing your keyboard. Maybe you're gonna use some shortcuts like shift some letter and it can mess with the things. So edited, and now I'm done. Okay, I want that mark and it's fine. So I go again, I'm in another part of my video, I want another mark, turn right and this is there, turn right again, I can edit it. But let's say I don't want this mark anymore, just turn left and it will delete it. I can bring back here, okay, where is the mark, and turn left and we'll delete it. The last thing here is if I choose a clip, okay, I can turn left this knob, retime, and we'll open the speed change. And if I turn right and it's not linked, I need to be unlinked, okay, then I choose just the clip, okay, then I can turn right and I have change clip speed. And in the same retime knob, let's say I'm here on the clip and I want to open that retime curve. So I'm gonna press Alt and now here, doesn't matter left or right, it's gonna open the retime curve. And if I turn it again, we're gonna close. So it doesn't matter left or right and left, it will open and close the retime curve. So the last thing you can do here, as I said, F1, F2 and F3 has the tools here, insert and things like that. F7 will unlink and link, as you can see here on this point, F7. And F8 and F9 will turn on and off the controller and go to the mode selection. In these two keys works in every mode, doesn't matter what mode you are, these two keys will do the same thing. The other keys will change according what panel you're using, but most of all it will work at the same. If you're in the edit page, it does what I said, the tools, and insert, remove and override, and turn on and on again, turn off and on again the snapping tool. If you go to the color page, all this will work with nodes, but this we're gonna see after in this video. On Alt mode, in edit mode, when you press Alt, you don't have nothing here yet. I'm gonna put this linked selection, which I don't have it, this one, position lock, and maybe other stuffs like, for example, click here and control this ones, and maybe select another places of the screen. I didn't choose what I'm gonna do with these Alt buttons here. For now, they do nothing. And I did that because I don't want to use this for not basic functions, like gonna go for specific functions because you have to memorize it. It's better use here where you have a visual reference, okay? The last thing you can do here on this panel, the edit mode, is, I don't know, maybe you wanna change the point, the in and out point of this clip, so you can select the clip and you can go to the slipping tool, the trim tool, and go here with your mouse, and you can press and go and back and change it. Or you can go on the bottom part and press again and change it like this. So you have this option too. You can come back to the pointer, the normal mouse pointer, which is this tool, selection mode, and you can go to blade modes and use it as well. So let's say I'm here, I can just press the mouse button to use the blade like this and this, okay? So this finish the inspector and edit mode, and now we're gonna see the color mode. Okay, I'm gonna press here F9 and go to the color page, and here we have our initial state 2, so we need to be in the curves mode here and in the wheels, color wheels mode here. So you need, if you start your program and it's like this, just come here and click with your mouse in these two buttons. So now you can have all the controllers here working well. So I'm gonna press here to come back to the first bank and choose primary wheels. And now I'm in the primary wheels. But let's say I'm not in the primary wheels. I'm gonna go to another panel here. So maybe this one. It's RGB mixer and blur. So I wanna back to the primary wheels. I can come to primary wheels and press this middle button where it says primary wheels, and now I'm in that panel. Okay, and if I'm not there, let's say I'm here and try to use the controls, it will not work. That's nice because it protects you. Do not mess with the things. So I press here, I bring back to primary wheels, and now I can control my primary wheels. So now we can talk about another limitation that this has. Normally you can use the 3 trackballs at the same time to change your lift, your gamma, and your gain. And here you cannot do it. You can only change one each time, which is not too much big limitation. It's kind of a limitation, but for me, for example, is not, because I never use the 2 at the same time, because I think you can think you're doing something in the gamma and you're doing something in the lift and etc. So I don't use too much them at the same time. But this is a limitation for some people, but it's smaller, close to close to the other advantage that you have using Tangent Wave Booster. For example, you don't have a trackball for offset, but here you can control your offset with the trackball. You don't have a controller, a jog wheel for the offset too, and here I put a controller for it. The trackballs here will not work, and this one will be the mouse as always. But if I press here, I go to the lift, and now I'm controlling the lift here, as you can see. And I'm gonna release it, and this works exactly like the inspector part. When you're using a controller, you need to release it after you use it or go from one to another. So I'm lift, I can go to the gamma, there's no problem. I can go to the gain, there's no problem. I can go to offset, and after finish, I have to release the button. If I click gamma again, it goes to the center, as you can see, like offset, but if I turn it, it's on the same place. It not goes to the center and back, okay? So it's just visually. I can go again and back offset. The arrow is on the center, but if I turn it, I'm there where I let the point the last time. Okay, I'm gonna release it, and I'm here. I can reset all these things. I just press Alt, and I can reset lift, reset gamma, reset gain, and reset offset. Another button I have here is white balance. So I click here, it goes and click here, downside on my white balance, and bring mouse backs here so I can choose where I want my white balance. So let's say I want here, I press the mouse and it's auto white balance to there. So if I want to change, I can press again, and I'll move my mouse and change it. There's no problem. So press white balance, you can click here, press white balance, you can click under skin, doesn't matter. And of course, the best part of this, now you can control these bottom controllers. At the Tangent Wave, using Tangent Wave with DaVinci native connection, you cannot control a lot of this. You can control some of them, but just you cannot control, for example, nothing of the second page, because I think it doesn't existed when the time they made the Tangent Wave and DaVinci connection. So in this, you can use everything. So now I'm in the first page, as you can see here, and I can toggle between them. And if you change it with your mouse, it's the same with the inspector thing. There's a variable, so if you use your mouse, remember to toggle again to bring the variable back to the right place. So you just press sometimes and it's okay, it's working again. So I can toggle between page 1 and 2. And when I do that, as you can see here, I'm in the page 1. This bank is the page 1. If I press up, I go to the second bank and it says page 2. Now I'm in the page 2. I cannot put on the tangent wave mapper 2 functions for the same button. So I cannot press here, change the page and change the bank. It's not possible. Or you do, or you make this button change the bank, or change or do some another thing. Like I did it. It's a shortcut. So I put here to change the bank. So we need to change the bank. I change it to page 2 and here to page 2. And now I have controls for the second bank. Okay, so let's say I'm here in the second bank and I can control my temperature, change, MD, cool boost, shadows, and HL, right? But what I can do too, as you can see here, if I go, it's kind of fast. But if I press Alt, then I have the same things, but in FT mode, which goes slower. As you can see, now I'm going smoother. I'm doing this fine selection. So see, turning, and goes smoother. If I release it, goes faster. Yeah, and as of course, when you're controlling something, you can use your trackball to go really fast or slow, or here or out here. Doesn't matter, okay? I'm gonna release it. And as I said, I'm in the page 2. I was controlling the page 2. I'm going to the page 1, and now I can control contrast, saturation, and my loom mix. Doesn't matter. And same thing when I press out, I have a more fine control of it. If I want, I can reset each part of this separately. So I can click here on my second bank. I have reset contrast, reset pivot, reset saturation, hue, and loom mix. It will bring to default value. And if I toggle to the page 2 here and I press Alt, I have reset temperature, change, MD, cool boost, shadows, and HL. And if I try to use, for example, reset contrast or saturation or hue on the second page, will not work because it's protecting you to screw the things. So if I go to the page 1, then I can reset them. So on this mode, I have 2 pages here, 2 pages here, which this one's change between page 1 and 2 controllers. This one goes to reset modes and back. And on the first bank, I can click Alt and I have the reset all primaries, which will reset the primary bars too, because primary bars and primary wheels are kind of together. As you can see here, pressing Alt, I have a delete button here and the name of the panel. If I click it, as always, it goes to that panel. So if I'm not in that panel, let's say I'm here and I press here or here in the middle, will bring to the panel. I can press Alt here and bring to the panel. And I have a delete here. And that is because you can control your nodes only on here. So doesn't matter what color page you are, what color mode you are, here you have controls of your nodes. So I can go F1 and add a new node. I'm gonna zoom out here so you can see it better. I'm gonna, let me say, I'm going to the, I don't know, curves that I undo here. So I can undo. Maybe I should put an undo shortcut here too. I'm gonna put an undo shortcut on this part too, and I can do it now. So I'm gonna go here to default, and maybe here will be fine. It's not the same place, but it's what is available. So I'm gonna put undo. Oh, sorry, I have to turn off the shortcuts. See, I just type it, some shortcut, because I press Shift and U, for example, and it do something. So it moved my mouse and I couldn't type what I want here. So I turn it off the software, okay, and now I can type. So I'm gonna put here undo, barra, redo. It's not barra in English, it's slash, right? And redo. and sensitivity goes to medium, and this is Control Shift Z and Control Z. So now I have undo and undo here. I'm gonna put one in the primary bars too, maybe. Primary bars don't has a place for it, maybe in alt. Okay, I can put here in the middle. So I'm gonna have here two, undo and redo, redo, Control Shift Z and Z, and back here, and I'm gonna put this on log 2. So on log and primary wheels, we're gonna have it in a different place, but doesn't matter. It's just to have the option which is important. So Control Z, okay. So here in the curves, I have this in the middle as always, but in some place will be different. So okay, now I have undo and redo here too. Okay, so as you can see, you can go forward and backwards. So as I was saying, here I have add a node, okay, and F2 will add a previous node. So doesn't matter where I was, doesn't matter where I am, I can add a previous node. F3 will add a parallel node, F4 a layer node, and F5 will add append a node. So here is going like the F1, but let's say I'm in this node here and press F5, it will not add a node here. This is F1. If I press F5, will not add here, it will add at the end of the tree. So F5 goes to the end of the tree, as you can see. Okay, I'm gonna undo, and on F6 I have inverted the inverted node. It's not this name, it's outside node, and on F7 I have the split node, that one with all the color channels. And as I said, F8 will stop and start the program. F9 goes to the mode selection. So you have all the nodes controls here, and that's really fast. But if you want to navigate in the nodes, so let's say I have more nodes here, I can go it. I just press Alt and I can go back on the nodes here, as you can see, and forward. See it? Back and forward. And let's say I have changed on this node here. So I'm gonna press lift here and gain and gamma. And now I have changed on this node, and I want to go to another node. So let's say the first node, and I want to do some change here. And now I want to delete the change on that other node. So I'm going to press Alt and go forward into it, and press Alt, and the middle button will reset that node. And if I want to delete it, I can Alt and delete it. So I can navigate between them and delete them or reset them, okay? Reset here, delete here. All right, we have all the primary wheels and other things here, and this stuff's about the nodes. Doesn't matter if I'm in the primary bars, log wheels, I will have the same controls here and here. And if I'm in curves mode, same controls here, as you can see, and here, okay? And I'm gonna undo. Doesn't matter where I am in this color page, this will work at the same. And now we can go to the primary bars, where I will have control of my primary bars. So I went there, my panel is not open, I shouldn't use my mouse to open it. I just press here primary bars, or press here primary bars, and will open it. And then I can control my lift, as you can see, red and green, here, and blue, and gamma, green, red, and blue, and the gain, green, red, and blue. And I can control my offset just pressing Alt and control red, green, and blue. And to control luma, lift, and gamma gain, the luminance channel out, and here I have lift luma, gamma luma, and gain luma. I can reset them as the first primary bars, and I can reset all the things which will reset primary wheels 2 and brings to the primary wheels panel, so I can come back clicking here. On this, I just prefer not choose using these controllers because I already has these here, so it will be like put more banks here, you need to change the banks, it's faster, comes here and go to primary wheels and use here. Okay, it's faster than bring more banks. So go here, go to primary bars, and just use for primary bars. And I have the pick black point here, which I can go here and choose the black point, just hitting my mouse, and pick white point. I can go here and choose the white point. And white balance 2, same here, and I can reset all the primaries again. And that's it. The primary bars is that. You have all the controllers. Let's go to the log wheels. So I'm going to the log wheels here. I can press here too. And here is the same that primary bars. I have shadows here, midtones, and I have a highlight, I have offset, and I have white balance, and I have contrast, pivot, and here of course is different. Then I have LR, HR, saturation, hill, but it's the same of the first primary wheels, like log wheels and primary wheels, kind of the same, just a little different because of the knobs. So I'm gonna release here and go to the second page and have temperature and etc, 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 but it's like the same. And of course that you can just reset your log wheels here, just clicking on it. And remember that when you reset your log wheels, is not the same that reset your primary wheels, for example. So on here, I changed my primary wheels, and if I go to my log wheels here and reset it, my primary wheels will be untouched. It's not like the same when I do reset with primary bars and wheels that reset all together. I think the primaries, wheels and bars, and log wheels are fine. We see everything we have to see there. So another thing that I didn't mention here is when you press Alt, you can navigate between the panels here until F7, and using Alt and F and function buttons here. Okay, and without it you have the nodes control, you know, and with Alt you can just go between the tabs here. F1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the same order. With F8 and F9, what you're gonna do is, let's say I'm here in this node, the first node, and if I press Alt F8, it will turn off and on that node. And if I press F9, we'll bypass everything. As you can see here, it's the Shift D. It will bypass everything. When you use this without Alt, of course, we will control your video, right? You just control, as in the same in the timeline, and goes from one clip to another. And with this, you don't have anything here. We can use it for future commands. Okay, so I'm gonna go here and hit F1 to go to the curves, F9 and go to the curves 1. And here we're gonna talk about a smaller limitation which we have here. You know, on the native controller with DaVinci Resolve, you don't have control about this part of the curves. You have some control here, and I don't remember, I think you don't have controls here. So with mine, you're gonna have a lot of control of this. You don't need to get your mouse and bring here and do things. You can control everything on the tangent wave. But you have a limitation, which is you have two curves bank here, 1 and 2. And when you do something in this clip or in this node, you're doing in the curves 1, and you save everything in the curves 1. And then you go to this node and do other things using curves 2. Then you save in that bank. So if you go to another clip or if you create one more node and do curves again, you need to use one of these two banks. We can create more banks in the future. It's just replicate. We can have like 100 of it. You just need to remember which one is what, and we're can save a lot of curves. But for me now, and just to finish the software, I did two banks, so you can do the change here and do the change in another node, and I did it two because sometimes you can have two nodes of curves in the same clip, and then when you're doing next clip, you're gonna lose and you're gonna save the next clip and forget the old one. That doesn't mean you cannot change. You can go back here and you can just change with your mouse, and you can control all the other things. Just the curves, this part here will be saved. The rest of it you can still control here. Okay, I talked about the limitation, but you cannot understand what I'm saying if I didn't show you what is saved on these variables, what is saved in this bank. As I said, you can control here, and this doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you are in the main curves 1, blue curves 1, if you are in the curves 2, doesn't matter. You can change all this, and you always will be able to change this. There's no problem at all. There's no saved things and saved banks, nothing like that. There's no problem at all. But for this part of the panel, the curves itself, you have the two panels, the two banks that I said. So let's say I'm here on the curves, okay? I'm gonna go to green curves. Now I'm the curves 1, remember. So here I'm going to change the green curves in the curves 1. So I'm gonna hit here, create the points, and now I have all the points here. And I'm gonna change it down, okay, okay, and okay. And I'm gonna release it, and now I saved this on the curves 1 bank. This curve is saved. I can go to the blue here. I can just change here between the curves. So main curves, it's all the curves together. Luminance curves, only luminance, only red, only green, only blue. Let's say I want to choose the red ones now. I create the points for the red ones. I go here and I just change this like this. I release it. I created here my first curves on the curves bank 1, and now I'm gonna add another node here, for example, and I want to create curves on this node too. So I'm gonna go here and go to the curves 2. And now I can go, I don't know, to main curves if I want, and create points here and change the place of the things. Let's say I'm gonna here, and bring this down, and that's it. It's my new curve. So if I back to my first node here, okay, and I back here to my curves 1, which is for this first node, and I go to red curves, I has the points saved, as you can see, and I can change them again, okay? If I go to the green one, I'm gonna release here, curves 1, go to the green, I have the points saved. I'm gonna release it, and I'm gonna go to the other node, curves 2, and this was in the main curves, so I hit here, I'm in the main curves, and I have all the points saved. And now let's say I want to change the blue channel. I hit here, I create the points again to reset the blue channel. The other main curves is still at the same, and I can go here and bring this up and release it. And I have everything saved here. And again, if I go back here, I have all the things saved on curves 1. So let's say I go to green curves, it's all saved. And if I back here on the second node and go to curves 2 and blue, I have all the points saved. That's what is saved. Okay, let's say now I want to create one more curves node. So I cannot come here and choose curves 1 or 2 and create it. Of course I can, but it will not work. As you can see, the position is different because it's already saved for this node. I'm in curves 1, right? So what I need is choose what bank I will delete. So let's say I'm in the third one, so I will delete the first one. So I choose here curves 1 and reset all curves. And now the bank curves 1 is for this node, and this one will not work anymore. I'm in the curves 1, I'm in this node, and if I go to the red channel here and click in the points, you're gonna see that is not in the same place. As you can see, it chooses another point. It doesn't remember the place of the points. So I have 2 banks to save 2 curves, and that's it. But this, as I said, is just for this panel here. Doesn't matter, you can still control in any node. So let's say I'm going to this node and I still can control Softy and the channels separately here, as you can see. So there's no problem, I can do it, okay? But if I want to use this part of the panel, so I have 2 banks, which is a limitation, but you don't have this on the original one. So it's amazing now you have it, and maybe we can create more banks, doesn't matter. If you need it, you can create a lot of them and have infinite, but probably you need to label your nodes to remember. So I'm gonna put a label here, and okay, this is curves 1, and then I will label the other one with curves 2, so I will remember what panel, what bank was that. So I can create thousands of banks in the code. I can do it in the next version, people can do it. You can do it with the source code, create more banks and have a lot of curves banks. Doesn't matter, you can do it. But to save more positions is just replicate the variable, so you can do it. But for now, I just did 2. I think it's fine. The rest of the controls, you have it. You can control here, everything, and it's fine, okay? So as I said, on the top here, you have control of the soft clip. So high, low, LS, HS. Without, you can reset each one. You can choose each channel here. So RGB and all. So you can choose here. And when you do like, let's say blue clip and change it here. And you can change the red one, the green one separately. Okay. And now you can just reset each one separately too. And for this, you need to go there. Like for example, let's reset blue one. I will click here, reset soft clip, and it resetted just the blue one. If I go to green, you can see it's different, see? And if I hit it here again, now I reset the green one. But if I hit here and select everything and hit here on reset soft clip, it will reset all the colors together. Another thing that I have here is control of this channel, this channel, this channel, and this channel separately, as you can see. And I can reset them separately. I will Alt, and doesn't matter what side I turn this, will reset the Luma channel, red channel, green channel, and blue channel. And of course, I can reset everything together. Clicking here, I will reset all the curves panel. With Alt, I have delete here because you remember I can always control my nodes here and delete them if I need. So I have this delete in every curves panel. So this finish with all this basic main curves panel. But we have one more panel, which is the curves VS panel. Oh, I forgot to say before we go, we have like 5 banks here on the curves 1 and 2. Luminance, red curves, green, and blue curves. You can see here, main curves 1, luminance curves 1, red, green, and blue. And when you hit, you go to the main, you go to the luminance, red. You saw I'm using it, but I didn't explain about it. But it's 5 banks here, you just change here. And you go for each curve. And let's say you change it, the red curves one, you can go, release it, and go to the blue one and change it. You always choose the color. So I go to the green one, and you have to create the points, okay? So green one, create the points. If I change this now and go to the blue one and click create points, I will reset the blue one. But let's say I'm here on the green one, and now I go to the blue one here, but I didn't press here and create the points. I will reset the green ones because I'm still in the green. I need to go to the blue one. Then I create the points and change it. So if I go to the main one, okay, and press create points, we'll reset the other ones because the main is all the curves together, okay? If I want luminance separated, so I can do it separated, okay? Now I can have luminance and then red with different place, and then blue and green, they can be all different, okay? You can change each one and have all of them separate. Okay, and the last thing about this is there's a little bug here. When you use your mouse here to change the things, sometimes you can go too much to the right, too much to the left, top and bottom, and as you can see, the mouse is not, it's controlling the point, but it's not on top of the point. And if I hit release here, it saved the point as this point was here. So when I hit again shadow points, the mouse goes to this place, as you can see. So it doesn't know that my point was in that place. See, when I hit, it goes there. See, it goes there. When I hit here, it goes there because it's saving my point in the wrong place and I didn't release it. So what I can do if this happens is press the shadow points, which is wrong. Okay, it goes to the wrong place. I pressed it, it's in the wrong place. Now, without press anything, I bring my mouse here and press shadow points again, and now it's saved in the right position. Now I can move it again. So remember to not save, to not release your dot, your point, without be with the mouse on top of it. Okay, just release it here. I can bring it here. See, don't release like this. Release it with the mouse on top of it, okay? It's a little bug, but if you do it, there's a simple way to resolve. So I got this, I save it wrong here. I just press the white, bring here, and press the white again. Oh, sorry, I pressed the wrong button. But I press the white, and it's fine, okay? So that's it. Just finish the curves panel, the main curves panel, which is this one. And now we can go to the curves VS, which is hue versus hue, hue versus saturation, luminance, and luminance versus saturation. There's another small limitation here. You cannot control saturation versus saturation. I did yet, and I will in the future, and I will need to make a panel for it, just a mode for it, and save like curves have banks to save it because it works different. So we cannot control this here, but we cannot control in the original one, so that's not a big limitation. As you can see, I changed it between the panels here, just pressing Alt and this. So if I'm in the curves panel, so if I'm here and press, nothing happens. If I'm here and press, nothing happens. But if I press Alt F1, I go to curves, and then I can navigate between the panels here, okay? Just pressing here. Here I navigate between the nodes. Here I can navigate between the curves panel. And if I go here to hue versus hue, for example, I go F9, curves VS, and now I have here all the controls for these curves. So let's say I want to control green output. I press here and I turn my trackball or my jog wheel to be soft. Jog wheel soft, trackball faster. I choose where I want that and I press here to release. And in this panel, doesn't matter, you release here. You don't have a release button because it doesn't matter. This is not this release don't save positions and nothing like that. So you have all the positions here already, so we don't have problems with that. And there's no banks and things like that. You can use this in thousands of nodes. I can go here and create another node. I can go to the hue versus saturation and create another green here. And I can just go to another clip, for example, and create other node, and again go to hue versus saturation, change here, and I can do this forever and forever. There's no limitations about this. Okay, so if I back here to the first clip and back here to the first node and back here on the hue versus hue, it's all saved and I can still control it. I can change the green again. Now I can go to the purple and change it. And as you can see, I'm changing the output, but you can change the input. Just press Alt and you have each input here. So let's say purple input, and now I'm changing the input place. I can be soft here too. I can change fast with the mouse. I can go to yellow, change the output, and click again on yellow with Alt key, and I have the input. So Alt will choose the inputs, and without Alt you choose the outputs. You can undo here what you were doing, and you can go here to the luminance versus saturation and use black output. Same thing here, mouse, and here, and white output, same thing. And here there's another small limitation that you have not controls to these points. You have to bring the mouse here and use your mouse to control it. There's no way. So if you need to change this, just came here and bring your mouse up and down and put wherever you want. And as I said, this panel you don't have control, but the other panels you have a lot of control. That's nice. So if you want reset end curves, so let's say I change this one and I want to reset it, just turn this knob left or right, doesn't matter, it will reset it and will not reset the other one. So if I change it here and then I go here and change it here and back to the first one and reset, this one was not reset. So you can reset them separately and you can redo and do here. So that's it. This is the Curves VS. It works perfect. Let's go to the next panel, which is F9. I will press Alt because we already did all this, and now we can go to Alt and RGB blur. And I'm the panel in the mode RGB mode, and I'm gonna press here and go to the RGB, and automatically I'm in the blur panel with RGB mixer panel. I can also press Alt F5. So Alt F1 I'm here, Alt F2 here. Let's say I'm go to the primary bars here, but I want to go to RGB and mix and blur. I just press Alt F5, I'm there, or I can just F9, choose RGB, and without release here, I can release or not, I just go directly here and I'm there. So it's really fast. I'm here, I just go F9, RGB, and I'm there. And here I have all the controllers, so I can go red channel, green channel, blue channel, red, green, blue, red, green, blue, red output, green output, blue output. Same for the blur panel. I will press Alt and I have red radials, green, blue radials. Here HV, red, green, blue. Here is scaling, red, green, blue. But as you can see, they are linked and scaling is not selected because I'm in the blur panel. Okay, so I made a change here. So now you can just toggle the links here on the middle button, which is faster, of course. Instead, press Alt and change it. And we had a reset RGB mixer here and reset blur here. And to toggle between blur channels, you just go here. I did this because as in the curves, like I'm here in the curves, so I'm going to the curves panel, I can change here, right? So when you go to the blur and mist, and then I go to RGB blur and mist, and now you can change here. But I didn't put back here because I don't think I should spend a shortcut here and a button here, because it's just 3 panels, you can go fast between them. Okay, so I just put going to the front and it goes changing between them. And now you have toggle here, which will be better, and reset buttons here, which is visually easier to understand. So I did this modification now when I was recording the video, and I'm gonna put this part here just to explain this little change I did. Okay, so I changed it here to sharpen, and now I have scaling. So I can press Alt and control scaling. And I can go mist and do the same, and I can come back here to blur. And here I have coloring softness, level and mix, and as you can see it's not working because I'm in blur and this option is not available there. So I can press here, go to sharpen, and now I have coloring level, controlling here or here, as you can see. I can go level, same thing, here or here, and you cannot go mix because you're not in the mist panel. So I will release here. This panel you can release here too. Remember, only in the curves VS and in the RGB mixer and blur panel you can release here, okay? So I go to the mist mode, and now I can change my mix. So it's here. Another thing you can do to release is press the same controller. So I'm here in the mix. If I press again, I will release it. This is valid for any controller. I can go to gain, for example, and I press again. It's the same. Then I press release button. Okay. So back to the RGB blur here. The last thing we have here is the links. So I can press Alt, and here I have a toggle link blur. So it will unlink the 3 of them. Now I can just adjust each channel separately, here, 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 and here, and I can toggle links again, and they will be back together. I can reset them like radius, HEV and scale, head output, green output, and blue output, and that's it. We already saw all the blur and the RGB mixer panel, and we can go to the last one, which is power windows. And I'm in the power windows mode now. I'm going hit here. I'm in the power window modes, and here is an easy way to work with your power windows. Clicking here, I'm gonna add a node with a circle mask, and if I click here, I add a node with a linear power window. On this one, I will add with a polygon window, and the last one will bring my mouse a possibility to create a form here to my power window. Okay, all right, so you added your nodes here, and if you want to work with your power window, you can come here with your mouse, of course, and work with the power window here. But of course you have the controllers here, so you can go size here, and as always you can just go faster with your trackball, or smooth with this, or really smooth with this. And you can release here and go tilt, or you can go pan, doesn't matter. And when you end, you just release the button, okay? But let's say you want to softness, and you can go, just press here, and you have soft 1, 2, 3, 4 inside and outside. This one just has inside and outside, so you're gonna control here, okay, and then release it. But we can go to another node here which has softest. Then I can control soft 3 here, and soft 4 here, and soft 2 here, okay, and I'm gonna release it, and that's it. So you have all the controls for power windows here, and you can control with your mouse. It's really fast. You can just go here and change everything, and you can reset your power windows just clicking here. So you will reset all the nodes. Another thing you have here show, hide, and power windows. So if I click this 2 times, it will show and hide the power window, as you can see. When it's showing, sometimes you need to press 2 times, and when it's not showing, you press just 1 and it backs. This is a DaVinci bug, it's not from my software. You just have to press 1 to back and have to press 2 to vanish it. And if sometimes you don't see you did that, and you know, you can come here and turn off and on again, and will still not appearing, and you cannot change your things. Let's say I add a node here, and as you can see, you cannot change the things. You can, but you cannot see it, right? So you just press here and it will show your power window to you again. Okay guys, that's it. You already saw everything that Tangent Wave Booster can control. I will work in more modes, so we're gonna have a mode for the motion effects, we're gonna have a mode for cut tab, and we're gonna have a mode for qualifier, which I didn't did yet. I need to find the best way to work with this, but I think it's really simple because I can control them for this part, so I can do this panel really fast. Probably in the next version, we already gonna have a qualifier and maybe the motion blur one, I don't know. I'm gonna see what I can do, what is the best for this, and maybe in the future do key and tracking. I don't know, I'm gonna see if this is necessary, but I think tracking is better with your mouse. So you go there, do with your mouse your things, and go back to other panels. You can navigate it here between them to be fast. So you go tracking, and then you do whatever you want, and back here and use your panel again. But I will do for the qualifier and the motion for sure. These two I will do. And I have already one separated for the cut. I don't use too much cut panel, but I will do 2. So we're gonna have in the next versions some more panels, okay? The last thing I have to say, if something goes wrong and start to stop working, you always can just close the software and open again. Just finish it and open it again and start it, just hitting F8, and everything will back in the tracks. And of course, just go to some mode, I don't know, normally go to the primary wheels. I hit the primary wheels and I go here with the mouse and put in the primary wheels and the curves, and then, or I go to the, I don't know, media pool and back to color page, and it's fine. So if everything stops, just reset the software and everything will come back in the tracks, okay? I hope you liked what Tangent Wave Booster can do. We're gonna see in the next version more features on this, and if you like it, you can go there and make a donation, and you can help us in our GitHub and find ways to improve this, okay? And see you in the next video. Bye bye.